So when you don't have any electricity and it's 30 degrees out,
For 2 weeks. No.
and you don't have hot water to take a shower, you make hot water on the stove to take a bath. So we are boiling water to put in the bathtub to take a bath because it's too cold outside right now for a instant heated propane hot shower that has been a luxury for the last few weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No electric. Where's FEMA?
At this point, we have all seen our fair share of photos and videos of the destruction from Hurricane Helene. And I wish I could confidently say, I wish I could sit before you all in this video today and confidently say that the worst is behind us. But I can't, because that would be a lie. That would be me not being all the way truthful about the current situation, because the current situation is we still have thousands upon thousands of people without power. We still have tons of people who don't have any shelter at all. A lot of these people are living in tents where their house used to be. Some of these people don't even have tents. They're sleeping on the ground, pitching fires and stuff on the side of the road where businesses and their homes used to be. And now the freezing weather is moving in. And it's moving in sooner than usual. But, these hurricanes and all of this weather, it's cooling things down. And now many of these mountain towns that we've been talking about for weeks, places where folks are still stranded, they haven't seen any government help yet. Now a lot of these mountain towns are being covered in snow. The snow has already begun. The freezing weather, below freezing temperatures, have already begun. So we are about to look at an entirely new situation, a horrific situation still, but now we have something else to deal with. Now you got hundreds of people out here with nowhere to go that are going to be in the freezing cold. Some of them, to be frank, if you want me to just be all the way real, some of them won't survive this winter. And folks, this is bad enough already for people who do have homes. Because even the people who do have homes, they don't have any power, they don't have any heat. There doesn't seem to be, I don't know how to put it, but it doesn't seem like these people are high on the list of priorities when it comes to what our government is doing right now. A lot of these people's power should have been restored long ago. But they're still sitting in the dark. I wonder why. But as this freeze is setting in, as the first snow is starting to drop, you would think that these government agencies would start moving in hyperdrive to make sure they got everything and everyone taken care of, but that's not the case. Now, as the freezing weather rolls in, FEMA, Red Cross, and other agencies are scrambling, trying to it's almost unbelievable to say it out of my mouth. But right now it's crunch time. Because soon, a lot of these people on the mountain are going to be freezing to death. So instead of FEMA and these other agencies coming in and doing what they need, working overtime, working in hyperdrive, what they're doing is they're working overtime, working in hyperdrive to go around and collect all of these donations and shut down these donation zones. As the snow is falling and they should be focusing their efforts on getting these people off the side of the mountain, finding shelter for these people who are literally going to freeze to death, what they're doing is they're still going to these donation centers and they're shutting them down, confiscating all of the supplies. In fact, there was a truckload of generators, right? Generators headed towards this area. So some of the people without power can have power, so they can maybe turn their heaters on, maybe take a hot shower, have power or Wi-Fi for the first time in weeks. But guess what? These trucks filled with generators are being intercepted by FEMA, Red Cross, and other agencies who are taking these donations for themselves, and they're not distributing them to the people who are the most affected. If you want to know the truth, I think a lot of these donations are being confiscated, and then these government agencies use these donations to give to other countries. I think a lot of the generators that were supposed to go to the people of Tennessee and to North Carolina, I think they're being intercepted, and these generators are being sent to Ukraine. And these generators are being sent to God knows where. That's what's happening. It's not like FEMA is coming in, they're taking all of these donations and passing them out in a more orderly manner. That's not the case at all. No, they're taking this stuff and doing whatever the hell they want with it. I don't know if you all remember, there was one hurricane that hit Puerto Rico, and FEMA was holding back all of these resources. They were blaming it on Donald Trump, and then it turned out that the people of Puerto Rico found warehouses filled with all of these supplies that were sent to them that were supposed to be passed out but never were. That happened a couple of years ago. Well, it had to be more than a couple of years ago now. 5 or 6 years ago. Go look into it. But that's where we're at, folks. It's crunch time right now. And instead of doing these last minute things to make sure that these people are okay, they're doing last minute things to ensure that these people are not okay. It's really scary when you think about it. But let's go ahead and roll this clip. Let's allow someone who's out there on the ground to explain to you all what's going on, and then I'll be right back with more.
Okay, so I just did an FAQ video, but I wanted to address this question separately because I know everybody's very curious about FEMA and Red Cross and all of those things. I will tell you that FEMA is confiscating supplies. When we first got there last Sunday, we were at the Bridge Church, and I personally witnessed, overheard phone calls, and talked to the person that was on the phone. Schools were calling them, begging them to come and take their supplies before FEMA could get to them. So, is FEMA going around and taking supplies? Yes, I think only from government-owned buildings, to my knowledge. So, like schools and stuff, if they had supplies, they could potentially confiscate them from like a fire department or a police station, I think. I don't know what they're doing with them. I don't know if they're passing them out or, just trying to get them into a better distribution center with better leadership. I don't have that information. So I'm not saying that FEMA confiscating supplies is necessarily even a bad thing, just that, yes, it is happening. Red Cross, I don't have a lot of information on. I know that one of our 18-wheeler loads of generators that was supposed to be delivered to us this week got intercepted by Red Cross, not in a, stealing kind of way, but they did convince the driver to donate them to Red Cross instead of us, is my understanding of that situation. So I don't think Red Cross is out here like stealing things, but they're definitely also trying to get supplies donated and, kind of interfering with truckloads that are going other places. FEMA has its place here, and I feel like that FEMA, can be helpful in certain circumstances. I will say that, they've offered temporary housing to a couple of the people that we've helped with, but they wouldn't have been able to accept that temporary housing if we hadn't have been there. I know, like for instance, there was one guy off of Old US 70 in Swananoa, and his driveway was washed out, his yard was a wreck, there were trees everywhere, and FEMA was like, well, we can't help you with any of that, but if you can get us into your driveway and get a pad cleared, then we'll drop you some temporary housing. And so we did all of that large equipment work for him, and FEMA came and dropped some housing for him. So, that was great for FEMA to be able to drop that, but if we hadn't have been there doing the rest of the work, then he wouldn't have gotten it, basically. So, are they being helpful? Yes and no. I don't know what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, government funding a little bit limited. I don't really know. I'm not here to bash any of these organizations that are out here because I know they are doing some good. I know some people that have definitely benefited from some things that FEMA is offering. But like I said, I also know that they're confiscating supplies and that, they're not fixing driveways or personal bridges into people's homes. We're getting a lot of denied requests for things like that. And this is an area where if you don't have a bridge, you don't get to your house because there's a lot of rivers and stuff that you have to cross. So we're here building that infrastructure back. That's kind of one of our main missions over the next couple months. So, yeah. Again, not here to start conspiracy theories, just telling you what I've seen, and not saying that FEMA's bad, not saying that Red Cross is bad, any of those things. I also want to address our military. We've worked directly with the National Guard. They are here. They are doing great things. I don't really have anything negative to say. I think the thing with the military is they're not really working with civilians, and I do understand that to a degree. But there's not enough of them to take care of all the needs here. And so I feel like if there was a little bit more communication and stuff with organizations like ours and the military, that we could all just be better use. But I also understand that that's not necessarily realistic, because it's the military, right? So, I mean, they have their own safety protocols to follow. So we're not upset about that. It's just frustrating, right? So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on FEMA, Red Cross, and military in Western North Carolina right now.
Now, when you hear things like this, it's easy to get angry and frustrated and discouraged, but we can't allow that to happen. We can't allow ourselves to get too angry and too frustrated, because one thing I've learned in life, cooler, calmer heads always prevail. And we cannot allow ourselves to get so discouraged. Listen, there's one thing I've learned over the past couple of years, and that is that the powers that be, they want to demoralize us. They want to break our spirits. When you see the response to this storm, when you see the response to other things happening, when you see how things are going in America and you ask why would anyone do this? Why are they doing a better job here? Why are they helping here? Why is this happening? It's because they want to demoralize you. They want to break your spirit, and the American spirit is something that is not easily broken, and we cannot allow them to do that. That's why in moments like this, we have to see the beauty. We have to keep our hopes high. There's beauty in every storm. And I'm not just talking about the weather storms. I'm talking about the storms that you go through in your life that have nothing to do with the weather. There's beauty in everything. And there's, even in a situation like this one, there's little things that we can look at and we can be extremely grateful for certain things. We got to count our blessings, right? So what I've been trying to do, we've obviously been focusing a lot on the negative from Hurricane Helene. It's hard not to focus on the negative, but we got to also talk about the positive. And here's a little positive story right here from you all. Cat who floated away on rooftop during Hurricane Helene reunites with family weeks later. A family in North Carolina has been reunited with their pet cat after he was swept away in Hurricane Helene floodwaters. According to a news release from the Best Friends Animal Society, the Burnsville family watched as their beloved animal attempted to climb to safety on a neighbor's roof during the storm last month, before he eventually lost his grip as the roof floated downstream and disappeared from view. However, the family, who had been forced to evacuate their property, returned to their home over a week later to find the cat named Ricardo Blanco waiting there for him. Nan Collins, the cat's owner, said that she and her family did not give up hope that they would eventually find Ricardo Blanco alive and well. He's doing fine, playing and doing all of the normal stuff, Collins says. She added, his full name is Ricardo Blanco because he's like a little movie actor, so full of life and playful. He's like a puppy dog, and he wants to be beside you and take walks with you. After he was rescued, Ricardo Blanco was treated for an ear and eye infection, as well as some ticks. through a free mobile vet clinic that was set up at a nearby shelter by the Best Friends Animal Society. There are so many stories just like that of Ricardo Blanco and his family throughout Western North Carolina. By opening a free mobile clinic, Best Friends Animal Society is working to fill a gap for services, providing basic veterinary care for the Western North Carolina community at no cost, so that people and their pets can stay together during this difficult time. So, when we're looking at Hurricane Helene and we're looking at the failed response from FEMA and other agencies, we also got to acknowledge the people who are coming in and doing their jobs. And not even doing their jobs, but doing the jobs that FEMA and other agencies should be doing. Because as bad of a job as those agencies are doing, we got volunteers that are doing an amazing job. We got, it's just mind-blowing how many people came to North Carolina, portions of Tennessee, to help on their own dime, out of the kindness of their own heart. And you got these charities and stuff that are down there as well. So there is some good with the bad. And we have to acknowledge the good, because you can look at the government's response and you can be discouraged and you can be demoralized. But when you look at the response from your fellow Americans and neighbors, that should give you the hope that we all need, because that's the true American spirit. The true American spirit isn't living within FEMA, it's living within us. It's living within you watching this video right now. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.